Chicago doesn't wake up. It exhales. The trains screech, pigeons scatter, and a relentless wind rolls in from the lake, carrying the grit of 1,000 yesterdays. In this city of broad shoulders and long memories, tucked away on the south side behind a rusting chain-linked fence, lies Sunset Park. It's a baseball field that hasn't seen a real game in years. A diamond of dirt and weeds, dreaming of its former glory. And that's where you'll find Jack Rourke every morning. He's 52, and if you rewind the clock a few decades, you'd see him as the pride of the Chicago Cardinals, a flamethrower on the mound, a local hero. Now, he's just a man with a noticeable limp, a thermos of coffee that could strip paint, and a stubborn habit of showing up early. Two places everyone else has long since forgotten. The field used to echo with the roar of a crowd, the sharp crack of a bat, the snap of a mitt. Now, it hums with the drone of cicadas and the faint, rhythmic clatter of Jack dragging a heavy rake across home plate. He tells himself he's keeping it alive. The field, the game, and the stubborn part of him that isn't quite ready to quit. It's a ritual, a silent promise to a past that feels more real than its present. He's not just raking dirt. He's tending to a memory, hoping it might one day bloom again. One blistering afternoon, a shadow falls across the pitcher's mound. A local kid. He's all elbows and knees, with a cap that swallows his head and a cracked wooden bat held like a sacred relic. "Coach Rourke," the kid asks, his voice barely a whisper. You really played in the majors." Jack stops, leaning on the rake. He sizes up the boy, the hope in his eyes, the worn-out sneakers. He lets out a gruff sigh. "Once upon a time, kid. Now, you want to learn to hit? Or just stand there and talk about it?" A small smile breaks on the kid's face. That's all the invitation he needs. The first swing is a wild miss. So is the second. But Jack sees something there. A flicker. He adjusts the boy's stance, shows him how to level his swing. And then, asterisk. Crack asterisk. The ball doesn't go far, but it flies true. Soon, the kid's friends start showing up. One becomes two, to become four. Word spreads through the neighborhood like a wildfire. A legend is back. He's running drills for free at the old Sunset Park. Jack doesn't plan it. It just happens. By the end of the week, he's got 12 kids, a bucket of scuffed, mismatched baseballs, and something that feels dangerously, suspiciously, like a purpose. He's not just Coach Rourke, the has-been. He's Coach. And for these kids, he's everything. Then she walks in. Maya Torres, 35. A single mother who moves with the tired but determined energy of a nurse working double shifts. She's the newly and reluctantly volunteered team mom, because her son, Leo, is one of Jack's most enthusiastic recruits. She watches from the dilapidated bleachers, arms crossed, a skeptical line creasing her brow. She isn't impressed by Jack's gravelly voice, his old no-nonsense methods, or his outdated drills that look like they're straight out of the 1980s. She sees the passion, but she also sees the risk. When practice finally ends and the kids scatter, their laughter bouncing off the chain-link fence, Maya walks over to Jack. He's wiping sweat from his brow with the back of a calloused hand. "You ever think about safety gear?" says Ace, her tone direct, cutting through the evening air. Jack gives a tired smirk, the kind he reserves for umpires he didn't agree with. "You ever think about minding your own business?" She doesn't even flinch. Her gaze is steady. "Only when people know what they're doing." Ouch. It's not the start of a storybook romance. There are no sparks, no soft music. It's the start of something sharper, more real, friction, a challenge, the kind of jolt that wakes up parts of you that have been dormant for years, buried under layers of regret and routine. She sees through his gruff exterior to the man who's just going through the motions, and she's not afraid to call him on it. That night, Jack sits alone in his small apartment, the city lights painting patterns on the walls. He's surrounded by dusty trophies and faded photographs, ghosts of a louder, brighter life. His eyes land on an old photo, a younger him, beaming in a bright red uniform, the roar of a sellout crowd frozen behind him. A winner, a star. He glances at his phone, sitting dark and silent on the coffee table. No calls, no texts. The silence in the room feels heavier than his bad knee, a constant, aching reminder of his isolation. Outside, a summer storm begins, rain streaking down the window panes, blurring the city into a watercolor of neon and shadow. And in that quiet, rain-soaked moment, a profound realization hits him. 2 weeks later, the field feels alive again. The kids laugh Maya, bring sandwiches, and Jack almost remembers what joy sounds like. But there's something he doesn't tell them. A letter sits folded in his glove box. An offer from the Cardinals organization to do a series of interviews about his legacy. He's supposed to talk about the glory days. He can't even say the word legacy without tasting rust. Because Jack didn't retire, he quit, blew out his shoulder on a bad pitch, and walked away before they could cut him. He never went back, never forgave himself for the pitch that ended it all. Maya doesn't know any of that, but she sees through him like sunlight through dust. One afternoon, while helping the kids pack up, she finds the letter. "You got fans waiting," she says, handing it to him. He shrugs. Fans forget fast. She studies him. "Maybe you're the one who forgot. Their arguments become routine." Her optimism versus his cynicism. Her belief in second chances versus his belief that some things just break and stay that way. But late one night, she finds him still at the field, showing Leo how to hit curveballs under the floodlights. "Keep your eye on the spin," Jack says softly. "Trust your swing." Maya watches from the sidelines, something shifting in her chest. This man who hides behind sarcasm and regret is still teaching, still giving. When practice ends, she tells him, "You're good with them." He shrugs. "I'm better with baseballs than people." "Say," smiles. "Then maybe it's time you learned both." It's the first time he doesn't have a comeback. Just the sound of bats clattering, the hum of streetlights, and a feeling he can't quite name. Summer rolls, and heavy and loud. Sunset Park hosts its first neighborhood tournament in 10 years. Old bleachers creak under the weight of parents, laughter, and hope. Jack's kids wear mismatched uniforms. No sponsors, no fancy gear, just duct tape, hustle, and belief. The first game goes badly. Errors, missed catches, a fight between two teammates. Jack storms off, mid-inning, temper boiling. Maya follows him. You can't quit on them every time things go wrong. He spins around. "I'm not quitting. I'm sparing them disappointment." She shakes her head. "No, you're sparing yourself." Her words hit harder than any pitch ever could. That night, he sits on the dugout bench long after everyone's gone. "Hey, here's Hecos." His old coach yelling at him, his father's silence. The crowd fading as he limped off the mound that last day. The next morning, he shows up early. Apologizes to the kids. Starts again. They train harder, smarter. He teaches them more than the game. He teaches them composure, teamwork, grit, and Maya. She keeps showing up too, with water, laughter, and a quiet kind of strength that unsettles him in all the right ways. One evening after practice, as the sun bleeds into the skyline, she says, "You know, you're not as broken as you think." He looks at her, really looks. You don't know the half of it. She smiles. Then tell me the other half. For the first time in years, he does. About the shoulder, the bad pitch, the crowd going silent. About how it felt to go from hero to headline to nobody. She listens. No judgment, no pity. Who's presents? And when he's done, she says, maybe it's not about what you lost. Maybe it's about what you still have to give. Something in him. Unknots. Not all of Italiano, but enough to make room for air. The final tournament game arrives. The kids are nervous. The bleachers packed. Jack leans on his cane, watching from the dugout. Maya sits beside him, clipboard in hand. You ready, coach? He grins. For what? Another heart attack. She laughs. For whatever comes after. The game is close. Tied in the last inning. Leo steps up to bat. Jack gives the signal. Curveball incoming. The pitch comes. Leo swings. Connects. The ball arcs higher, landing just inside the fence. The crowd erupts. They win, not because they're the best, but because they believed long enough to try. After the cheers die down, Jack walks the field alone. He looks up at the scoreboard, 7-6. Then at Maya, waving from the bleachers. He thinks of all the things that went wrong in his life, and how this, somehow, went right. Weeks later, the Cardinals' PR rep calls again. He turns down the interview. I've got my own team now, he says. The field gets a new sign. Sunset Park Youth League. Coach, Jack Rourke. In the evenings, he and Maya sit on the bleachers, watching the kids chase fly balls. The sky turns gold. The city hums behind them. He looks at her and says, never thought I'd get another season. She answers, you didn't. You made one. They sit in silence, the kind that feels like home. Wind rustles through the grass. Somewhere a bat cracks against a ball. And for the first time in years, Jack Rourke doesn't flinch at the sound. He smiles, not the smile of a man who won, but of one who finally stopped running from the game.